Hi, my name is Kevin Thomas, W1DED. Grace Papay, K8LG, is a relative newcomer to ham radio. She was first licensed in early 2021, but she hasn't wasted any time immersing herself into the hobby. She's an avid contester. She's multi-opt from K3LR in Pennsylvania and J62K in St. Lucia. She's also very active with youth leadership. In addition, she just got back from Dayton where she did a presentation. Grace, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Kevin.
So tell me about Dayton first. I'm really interested in that. I wasn't able to make it this year, but it looks like it was a ton of fun. How was that experience for you?
It was actually my first time attending Contest University on the Thursday before Dayton, which was really a good experience to learn from fellow contesters. Dayton was a blast. I was all over, hopping from booth to booth where I had several commitments.
Well, I certainly saw a lot of photos of you, as well as Katie, who I've interviewed here on the show before, and it looked like it was a great group of young people there this year. So let's go back to the beginning. 2021, you get licensed as a ham radio operator, but you're not the first in the family to be licensed.
Yeah, that's correct. I mainly got licensed in 2021 to honor my grandfather. That was the whole reason in the beginning. He was celebrating 60 years of being an amateur radio operator. I got licensed to honor him, but I didn't know how amateur radio was going to change my life.
Tell me how that changed your life. How did that happen, and how soon did that happen?
It sort of changed right after I made my first contact. My first contact was with my grandfather. I didn't really know, though, that there was this many people in the community and they were going to be so welcoming. I'm interested in amateur radio. It has helped me with fields of study, helped me with schooling, and how it will apply when I go off to college. And amateur radio is my life. I'm making contacts every day. Talking with people via amateur radio has really helped me.
You're not just making contacts, you're making a lot of contacts in contests. I looked at your QRZ page, and I think you've operated in many, many more contests than I've had a chance to do. Tell me how you caught that bug. Was that also a family connection, or did you just get hooked on rate, as Randy K5ZD would say?
Yeah, I don't know. I started off in the beginning. I knew contests were out there. My very first contact was with my mom. We did multi-single for the ARRL Rookie Roundup. So we did that, and I enjoyed that. So then I decided to look for future contests that I would participate in. I wasn't too serious, but back at YOTA Camp in 2022 in Ottawa, Canada, I met a friend. Delta with 3 Oscar November encouraged me to pursue contesting more seriously. I was more of a casual contester. I would enjoy working the DX and enjoy participating. But since then, I've become very serious and encouraged to figure out how I can make my score better.
So let's back up. You mentioned your grandfather, but then you just casually mentioned your mom's a ham radio operator. And if she participated with you in the rookie contest, she sounds like a newer ham radio operator. How many people in your family are actually in the hobby?
So I'm an only child. Both my parents are licensed. My grandfather and grandma are licensed, like I mentioned. But also my uncle, he's not too active, but he is licensed and enjoys doing some of the 2-meter, 70-centimeter repeater stuff.
It's quite an honor to be invited on any multi-op, and you've had the chance to go to K3LR, which is an amazing experience by all accounts. You've also gone down to St. Lucia and operated with Bill Schmidt's station, J68HZ. Tell me about that. How did you get on those rosters, and what were those experiences like?
Yeah, those were great experiences. I learned a lot. The main way I got involved with those was the Youth DX Adventure, YDXA. That's an event where they host a youth 12 to 17 and a parent. And last year it was at K3LR. So both Katie, K8LQR, Ben and Agnes and myself were down there operating for the IOTA contest. After that, Tim invited me, and then Bill was wanting some youth operators, and he invited me down there as well.
So what was that like, going down to St. Lucia?
Yeah, it was my first time out of the country except Canada, so it was a neat experience. Just being down there, the cultural aspects, hanging out with the locals was so fun. I'm not one that's necessarily too adventurous with food, but trying some local fried crawfish that the neighbor brought over was definitely a highlight.
So you're down there for the WPX Phone Contest, I believe. I think I talked to... Well, I definitely got J62K in the log. I don't know that it was you. I think it was one of your teammates. But you guys did pretty well.
Yeah, we did pretty well. We were on multi-2, high power, which was an exciting experience. So Kyle, he set up the roster ahead of time, and we were doing some operating chunks and switching off, and it worked out pretty well.
So what are your working conditions there at the house? What are you operating with when you're home in Michigan?
Yeah, so I have a more of a simpler setup. I'm running low power, which is a bit harder, but I'm encouraged to keep pushing. So currently, we're using a 100-watt radio and an inverted dipole, but we are currently hoping to improve the station.
So it's quite a dramatic change when you're at K3LR with all the firepower they have.
Yeah, at K3LR in those stations, it's a different mentality. It's run, run, run. Everyone will call you, everyone will find you. When I'm at home, it's more find the multipliers, work the contacts that are easy to work, focus on multipliers, and keep going. Don't let 3 minutes of no contact slow you down. Just keep pushing. Even if it's hard to keep going, the multi-ops, everyone will come for you, and you'll be like, hey, why can't I do that? But at some point, it's just a different mentality to have.
So beyond contesting, do you have other interests in ham radio that keep you occupied?
I started out originally with amateur radio satellites. That's where I started. My grandfather and my dad both have had several accomplishments with amateur radio satellites. My grandfather was the first one to complete working all 488 grid squares in the U.S., and my father was the second. So I'm hoping to at some point achieve that as well. I have very few left, and I'm constantly working at that. But amateur radio satellites, especially FM satellites, have prepared me very well for contesting. Just the fast pace and being able to copy information and give it back in a very short amount of time has set me up well for contesting.
And what about youth organizations and youth leadership? Because I know you and Katie spent a lot of time with youth organizations. How did that get started for you?
So I was able to be a part of the camp in Cincinnati in 2022. So I was invited, I applied, and I was accepted. So I was able to be a part of that. I don't know. I'm an advocate for youth. Tim, K3LR, said we need to leave the hobby better than we found it. And that's a mentality me and Katie are both having as we move on. How can we encourage others? How can we help or learn ourselves to be able to better the hobby?
So tell me about that. How are you encouraging other young people to get involved with the hobby?
Past weekend, Dayton, just if you see a youth, encourage them. I know I hung out with a girl who wasn't licensed for some time, and just showing her and explaining what amateur radio is. She came with her father, and she didn't really exactly know what was going on, but just explaining and showing her how it applies to STEM and science. Not necessarily you need to force the licensing aspect, but encourage them. And I don't know, they see your passion. She's like, yeah, I can see you're passionate about this, and that just portrays through.
And what are your goals looking forward in ham radio? What are the things, I mean, obviously the satellite work is something that's important to you, but what are your other goals in ham radio?
Yeah, the goal would be every contest, do as best as I can, and just improve the score and improve my CW. My CW is not the best currently. I'm still learning, so have a good CW.
Grace, I'm not sure how old you are, what grade you're in. I don't expect you to answer that, but I presume college is on the horizon for you. Has ham radio impacted sort of your educational path?
Oh yeah, of course, amateur radio has impacted my educational path. I just finished my senior year of high school, and so I'll be going off to college and university next year. I don't think I could say that my career decision would have been made without amateur radio. I'll be studying electrical engineering, so being licensed to a freshman year of high school and just seeing all the different ways amateur radio applies and how that's taught me stuff that will possibly be needing to know in my engineering career.
And do you think you'll take ham radio with you to college? Do they have a club station?
The school that I'm going to be attending does not currently have a club, but it is about 30 minutes from the DARA Whiskey 8 Bravo India Clubhouse, which I'm hoping to get involved with and maybe participate in some of their club station contests or get involved with the youth. I know they have a big youth initiative push, so help there as well.
Well, Grace, I really appreciate you taking some time this morning. I appreciate you working through the technical difficulties. Also, it shows true ham radio spirit that you're able to bounce with that and make it all work. But thank you for taking time this morning.
Yeah, thank you.
I've been talking to Grace Papay, K8LG. I know you'll hear her on in the next contest, probably this weekend, actually, the WPX CW contest. Thank you, Grace.
Thank you, too.